there is a key ingredient to this Geula work, and I realized that I omitted this key ingredient from the beginning of my story, which I shared in Geula Mindset Part 2. And that's a pretty big omission, because that really was the beginning of everything for me. And it was from there that everything flowed from there. And this key ingredient is what I would call Geula Conscious Hisbodedus. Hisbodedus means conversing. It refers to conversing with Hashem in your own words. Not saying the words of a prayer book, but really having a conversation with God. And it's a very powerful way to develop a very connected, intimate relationship with God. And what happened is, if you recall, I was in a time of life when I felt like I was really struggling in a lot of areas. And I was reading around this time, I was reading the book Amunah with Love and Chicken Soup by Rebbetzin Henny Machlis. And on the chapter of Tefillah, the author of the book was explaining that Rebbetzin Machlis really promoted the importance of doing Hisbodedus. And she gave a specific formula for how to do the Hisbodedus. And it was that formula which really, looking back now, I can understand why it was so powerful. So what was the formula? 5 minutes a day is all that's needed. You could do more if you'd like, but all that's needed is 5 minutes a day. And first, you spend 2 minutes praising God. Just praising all of God's creations, all of his wonders, all the details of his wondrous, miraculous creations and the things that he orchestrates. There's no end for all the things that we could praise Hashem for. So 2 minutes of praising Hashem. Then the next 2 minutes is spent thanking Hashem for all the blessings that he gives you in your life, all the different things, whether it's just different body parts working well, the way that he puts pleasure into into life, right? The way the food tastes good, the way the natural world is so beautiful, the different little small miracles that you've seen in your life, all the blessings of your life, you thank Hashem for. And then in the last minute or two, you make your requests, bakasha, you request from God. And a little while ago, someone asked me, she said, when it comes to Geula consciousness, you talk about the importance of believing that your Yeshua is already there, believing in having bitachon, trust, and revealed good, that Hashem wants revealed good for you. And we're just in the process of evolving towards that, towards the Yeshua, towards the revealed good that we're waiting for. So she said, so where does bakasha fall into this? Like, is there a place to ask for things if you're just so full of trust that it's all going to work out? And the answer is yes. Bakasha is a very important part. Bakasha, requesting, asking things from Hashem. But what makes it Geula conscious is the energy with which we come to Hashem with the request, right? We could come to Hashem, and this I think is a more common way that people speak to Hashem, is just complaining and saying everything that's wrong and asking for Hashem to take away a difficult situation, which ignores the fact that a lot of times Hashem gives us the painful situation in order to push us to change. And really there, what's needed is to ask Hashem to help us change what needs to be changed, heal what needs to be healed, so that the painful situation can go away. But very often that's really not the focus. It's just kind of complaining and coming from a very low emotional place, and just asking Hashem to just fix things. And I think very often there's also, even if we are asking, there's also often a lack of trust that Hashem really wants good things for us and Hashem wants to help us. So the difference here is that we first prepare ourselves for the bakasha. We first prepare ourselves to get into a high emotional, elevated state to make the bakasha, which makes the bakasha so powerful. So first we praise Hashem. Why are we praising Hashem? Hashem doesn't need to be praised. It's for us to reaffirm to ourselves and remind ourselves and, just reiterate what we already maybe know but aren't always thinking about it, is just how amazing and incredible Hashem is. He is infinite. He is everything. You are speaking to the infinite everything, the infinite creator, the infinite healer, the infinite lawyer, the infinite therapist, the infinite marriage therapist, child therapist, everything you could possibly want. He is the ultimate of everything. What a privilege to be able to have an audience with Hashem. And so that is what we are reiterating to ourselves, reminding ourselves when we praise Hashem. And then we thank Hashem. Does Hashem need us to thank him? No, he does not, right? Of course, we are, again, doing it for ourselves to remind ourselves how much Hashem loves us, how much he cares for us, how much he does for us, how much he wants to help us, clearly because of everything he's already done. So then we now come to the bakasha, we now come to the request with the feeling of Hashem can do everything. Hashem is everything. There's nothing beyond Hashem. Anything is possible with Hashem. And why should I believe that he wants to do all these things for me? Well, I've just reminded myself all the chesed he has already done for me. So now it's easy for me to believe that he wants to do more. But a lot of times that more is dependent on us changing, growing, healing, and quite crucially, inviting Hashem into the process, right? Hashem often doesn't go where he's not invited. So inviting Hashem into the process is a part of it. So when we do this Hisbodedus, we are A, inviting Hashem in, and B, coming to him from a higher elevated state, which allows us to have that Geula consciousness, allows us to believe that anything is possible and that Hashem wants to help us. And being in that elevated state allows us to perhaps make more deliberate requests, more elevated requests that are actually more hopeful to us, right? Instead of asking Hashem to just take away the problem, to ask Hashem to help us heal or grow in whatever way is needed, so that the challenge is no longer necessary. And we're able to do that. We're able to ask Hashem because we're coming to him with a state of trust from the Hisbodedus. So I hope that this helps. And I would love to hear from you about your experiences in working with this.